So we're going to look at multi-step equations today. It's just what we've been doing. It's just going to take more than one step to solve it. So our essential question is, how can we use multi-step equations to solve real-life problems? We won't look at the answer to that until next class, but not today. So we solve multi-step equations by simplifying. What's simplifying mean? Yes, wow, nice. It's making it to its smallest or simplest form. Reducing all our fractions, perfect. And then when you simplify, you produce what are called equivalent equations. We talked about that last time. Those are just equations that you produce along the way until you isolate the variable. What's isolate the variable mean? Get it by itself. By itself. Okay, so for that first one, what do I do?
You isolate the variable.
Yeah. So I isolate the variable. I don't want to divide first. I want to get, it's almost the opposite of order of operations, right? You want to get everything, you want to get rid of everything around the variable first. So what's on the outermost? That 13. So you're going to have to add 13 first. Beautiful. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides. And I should really line up the 13 and the 2, but just know that. So 2.5 equals 15, 2.5x. So how do I get rid of that 2.5 in front of the x? Now I divide, and you can use your calculator for this. So you divide by 2.5, and you get x equals 6. If you didn't want to deal with the decimal, how do I change it? Yeah, move it. I can move it 1 to the right, actually, because then it becomes 25, right? And then I move this 1 to the right, and that becomes 1, 5, 0. And then you get 6. Perfect. 2 more problems that we're going to take a look at. The first one is negative 12 equals 9x minus 6x plus 15. What do you suppose I have to do first? Combine the like terms. Yeah, combine the variables, those like terms. Nice. So those are like terms. They both have x's in them. So I'm going to put them together. So I have a negative 12 equals, well, what's 9 minus 6? 3, right? So I have a 3x. And then I have a plus 15. So now what do I do? Yeah, I subtract 15. Perfect. So I have negative 27 equals 3x. And then I divide by 3 and divide by 3. I want the x to come first, so what's my answer? Yeah, x equals negative 9. Nice. Questions on that? So that took multiple steps. I had to combine my like terms, I had to subtract, I had to divide. This one's a little bit easier. Why don't you give that one a try, and then check with someone near you. We'll go over it. So we're moving on to the next slide now. We'll take a break after this one. It's a little bit more complicated. All right, so I want to isolate the c, so what do I do first? Someone other than the same person that keeps answering. Thank you. Same 2 people that keep answering. I add 11. So I get negative 10 equals 1/2 c. I want to hear from someone over there. What do I do now? Yes. I can divide by 1/2. What's another way? Multiply by 2, right. What happens when you take a 1/2 and you multiply it by a 2/1? Yeah, you get 2/2, which is 1, right? Dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2. So you're going to multiply both sides by 2. So you have -20 equals c. You want the variable to come first. C equals -20. So what do I have to combine for the second problem?
The like term.
The like terms. Yep. The like terms. -2 minus 10 is going to give me what? -12, right. Remember, you add the opposite whenever you're dealing with subtraction and a negative. So I have -12x plus 12 equals 18. Then I subtract 12 and subtract 12. So I have -12x equals 6. And then what do I do with the negative? Divide by -12. So I'm going to get a nice fraction here. Let's erase this. And so I'm going to divide by -12. Great. X equals 6/-12. I could just rewrite that with a negative on the outside. -6/12, like that. What does that reduce to? Yeah. So that is simplifying it, getting it to its simplest form. Right there. Questions? Okay. So now I have parentheses. What do I do to get rid of those parentheses? Yes. Yeah, so distribute. Perfect. Yes, yes, yes. I've got 3 people that clearly know what they're doing. 3 or 4. So I do distribute. So I'm going to take that 2, and I'm going to distribute. So I get to minus 2x plus 3 equals -8. So now what do I do?
Subtract.
Well, I combine the like terms, right? So I want to combine the like terms first. Then I'll take care of that. So I have a -2x, a 3, and a 2. So I have this +3 and I have this +2. I combine them to get a 5 equals -8. And then, of course, I subtract. So now I do that subtraction step. So I have -2x equals -13. And then lastly, I divide by -2. A negative divided by a negative is going to get me what?
A positive.
A positive. What's another way I can write 13 halves? What's 13 split in half? 6.5, right. 6.5. So x equals 6.5, x equals 6.5. Any of those will work.
Wait, isn't there a negative?
No, because you have a negative divided by a negative.
Oh, worse.
It's okay. Questions? Do you feel like you need more practice on this, or do you want to get started on the homework?
Start on the homework.
Okay. We'll get started on the homework. So, homework's right over there. I will put the slide up.
What do you say?